Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are so happy to be here again with you in Ruraganje, of course. My name is Hamis Sango, and for tonight, we'll be talking about the Rwanda on global stage. We have a very own and special guest for tonight. He's from UK. His name is Simon Danczuk. Simon, most welcome on TV10, especially in Ruraganje.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, we are so happy and really honored to have you for tonight. But actually, for those who are watching us right now, they are very excited to discover who's the Simon Danczuk in general.
Yeah, good. Well, I'm 58 years old. I've been in British politics for over 35 years, so I've been involved in British politics many years. And I was a Member of Parliament in the UK from 2010 to 2017. Much more recently, I married a Rwandan woman, Claudine Awumahoro, or more commonly known as Coco. So I came out of Parliament in 2017. Since then, I've been doing lots of business. I still have an interest in politics. I'm also a part-time author, and my wife and I live between London and Kigali. So I'm here regularly.
Definitely. This is really nice, and it's very interesting to see a family live half in London and Kigali. By the way, why Kigali and why Rwanda? Why choose Rwanda as family?
Well, I came to Kigali on business in 2022, early 2022, and that's where I met my wife, Coco. And so we developed a relationship. We got engaged that year, and then a couple of years later we got married in Kigali in Rwanda. And we love the country. We love Kigali. She has a business here, Coco Skincare, so she devotes some time to that, as well as doing business in London.
Nice. So it'll be very easy to talk more about Rwanda on global stage for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Nice. So my first question actually will be, what are the most ambitious projects Rwanda is showcasing to attract foreign investment and strategic partnerships?
Yeah, well, this is just from my perspective. I follow what's going on in Rwanda quite closely because I'm here on a regular basis, so I like to know what's going on in the country. I think the president's doing an exceptionally good job. The government's doing a good job in terms of promoting Rwanda internationally. I think they have particular interests as a country. I mean, agriculture is an obvious one, but I think it goes much further than that. I think technologically, Rwanda is at a very advanced stage. If you look at why I came in 2022, March 2022, I came to have a look at the outsourcing sector. Now, the outsourcing sector is where companies, corporations, outsource some of their delivery of service, customer care, to a third party, to a different company. And Rwanda has become very good at that. So they call it CX, Customer Care Services. And that has a big, strong technical dimension to it, responding to people on the internet, you know, artificial intelligence, answering the phone if people ring up a corporation. So that's a good example of a sector that Rwanda is developing really well in. I visited in 2022 to look at that, and with 3 years on, the country's doing exceptionally well in that particular sector. So you've got agriculture, you've got the outsourcing sector. Other technologies are crucially important. The first drone delivering medicine that I ever saw was in Rwanda itself. So how Rwanda embraces technology, I think, is really impressive, and something I think it's capitalising on. I think it's doing really well in terms of attracting foreign investment around technology. I think that's important.
Nice. Then the second question actually will be, how is Rwanda positioning itself as a key player on the global stage in 2025, particularly through its participation in international events?
Yeah, well, it has a good reputation internationally, there's no doubt about that. And it plays a key part. Again, in 2022, I came in March, and then 2 months later, Rwanda hosted what's called CHOGM, Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. That brings together all the nations in the Commonwealth every 2 years. And for Rwanda to host that successfully, which it did, Boris Johnson was our Prime Minister at the time. He attended, I know that. I went to the business section of that conference. And it's through doing that sort of thing that helps Rwanda. I mean, the other sector that Rwanda's particularly good at is hosting conferences and seminars. It's got the convention centre at the centre of Kigali. That's a key aspect of its economic development.
Nice.
That attracts business and politicians into Rwanda. So they get, not only do they get a positive experience in terms of the conference that they're attending, but they also get some insight into Rwanda itself. That's what happened in CHOGM, and that's replicated elsewhere. Let me give you this story. I was speaking to an advisor, to Boris Johnson actually, and this advisor went with Boris Johnson to a whole range of international conferences when he was Prime Minister. And he made it clear that Rwanda was always one of the countries at these international conferences that people took notice of. They had a very good Rwanda has a very good reputation at international conferences for getting their message across, for communicating with other countries. And that's an anecdote, a story that he told me. And I think that says a lot about both President Kagame and the broader Rwandan government itself in terms of how they do foreign affairs, how they, promote Rwanda internationally. Really important.
Nice. Dear Simon, you've been talking about the technology and the innovation. Then how does Rwanda's commitment to innovation, sustainability and digital transformation enhance its reputation globally?
Yeah, I've been to various parts of sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa. I spent 10 weeks a couple of years ago working in Sierra Leone. And the contrast between that West African country and Rwanda is substantial. The two contrasting countries, and yet they've had similar histories. They had a civil war in Sierra Leone, and that country, very unfortunately, has just bumped along like this since their civil war, whereas Rwanda has gone like this. It's really taken off. That's very much around political leadership. But it's also about embracing technology, having a sustainable agenda. And so the contrast that you see between Rwanda and some other African states is that Rwanda's very security conscious, very safe place to live and to do business, very good at doing business. You can set up a business in very quick time. There's no corruption in Rwanda. It embraces technology, whether you're coming into the airport and technology is used there, you're developing a new international airport, which will be phenomenal, and certainly a hub at the centre of East Africa. I think it will lead in that regard. But you see technology everywhere. In Sierra Leone, you could barely pay with a debit card. You had to take large amounts of cash around with you. And that, in the 21st century, is very unfortunate. That contrasts with Rwanda, where technology is very advanced. You pay with anything, pay with card or with phone very easily. So that's really helped Rwanda take off in the last couple of decades. I think it's phenomenally impressive, actually.
Very impressive. Then talking about the security, how does actually, in what ways has Rwanda contributed to peacekeeping and conflict resolution effort across Africa, and how does this shape its international image?
Yeah, so its role in peacekeeping has been impressive, hasn't it? Through the United Nations, it has a very good reputation for its military going into other locations and assisting in keeping the peace, and that counts for a lot in terms of Rwanda's profile. It has a very effective military as well, a very well organised military, a very disciplined military, and I think that makes it a better peacekeeping force, one that can be relied upon. And it just, that aspect reinforces that broader view that Rwanda really is a country that's on the up, that's very organised, that's determined to be successful. So all these different aspects of what Rwanda is currently doing all play a part in improving its profile internationally. So whether it's embracing technology, whether it's having a successful, strong, disciplined military, whether it's having a very smart upmarket tourism in terms of the guerrilla visits and things, all this combines to paint Rwanda in a very positive light.
Nice. Then, how has Rwanda's membership and leadership role in international organizations like the Commonwealth and la Francophonie influenced its diplomatic influence?
Yes, I mentioned CHOGM in 2022.
Definitely.
That was clearly crucially important. We had Prince Charles then, he's now King Charles, at the event. I saw him here in Kigali, I was also there. And that's important. So, I mean, one thing I often comment on in relation to President Kagame is the energy that he puts into the role. So he really works hard. You know, I've observed many politicians over 35 years, and Paul Kagame is probably the most energetic, the most enthusiastic. So he doesn't just work here domestically in Rwanda, he's out on the international stage, and I think that counts for a lot. You know, he's speaking to President Trump, he's speaking to other international leaders, you know, countries' leaders on a regular basis. I see this, and whether it's through the Commonwealth or elsewhere internationally, and that counts for a lot in terms of helping Rwanda succeed.
Then, what is your actually opinion on this question? What are the challenges and criticism Rwanda faces internationally regarding human rights and governance, and how is the country responding?
Yes, well, the short answer is that the country, Rwanda, is responding by being successful. And it's not for Western nations, whether that's the United Kingdom or Belgium or France or Germany or anywhere else, to tell Rwanda how it should govern itself. You know, we have a certain kind of democracy in Britain, and you know, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's probably the worst state it's been in a very long time. We have a very authoritarian Prime Minister who is shutting down free speech in the United Kingdom at the moment, and America has been criticising the British government for closing down free speech. So how you measure these things is important. It's not for Western nations to tell an African country how they should run their country. I think that's the most important point. We should measure Rwanda on its success. So, is it a safe place to live? Yes, it is. Is it managed well? Yes, it is. Is it particularly clean? It's absolutely immaculate. Is the economy growing? Yes, it is. These are the signs of success. If we had this much success in the United Kingdom, a lot of British people would be a lot happier than they are now. So I think many of the criticisms of Rwanda in terms of human rights and governance, etc., are exaggerated. And we've got to remember as well, there are some European countries that have an agenda of their own. And I'm thinking about the situation in DRC and Rwanda. I think Rwanda has an absolute right to defend itself. I think Belgium has been playing a negative role in that country. And I think people like Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, who's been supporting Belgium to an extent, he's very pro-European Union, is Starmer. So it's natural that he would support Belgium, but it's not healthy. He's a human rights lawyer, that's his background. But he's only a human rights lawyer when it suits him and his friends. So some of the criticism that Rwanda's faced is just not justifiable and needs to be corrected. So there's an important job of getting that message across. But I believe President Kagame and others are doing that on a regular basis on the international stage, which is what we talked about.
Come back on actually technology and partnership in general. How is Rwanda leveraging technology and partnership with actually countries like Japan, China, and other European countries to become actually an innovation hub in Africa?
Yes, yeah. Well, you clearly prioritising that. You from what I've observed, you set out an annual budget in terms of where investment's going to go. You've got a very strong relationship in terms of aerospace and aviation. We've mentioned the new international airport, which will be phenomenal, and that will certainly embrace technology. I mentioned the outsourcing sector, that's embracing technology. I've already seen that. And you know, the way the country is developed, whether it's the supply of electricity, the supply of the internet, all that is going forward at an exceptionally strong pace. I saw some statistics on Rwanda relatively recently, which showed how electricity had increased across the country. You know, and it's phenomenal how they've got electricity out to every location. Truly impressive for a country, for a developing country, to be able to do that. So yeah, I've no doubt that embracing technology is very much part of the growth agenda for Rwanda.
Nice. Then Simon, what role does economic diplomacy play in Rwanda's foreign policy and Vision 2050 development plan?
Yes, I mean, one of the benefits you have, I think Rwanda's very lucky in having President Kagame, actually, because he's completely dedicated to the country and its people, and he is a true visionary, and that's encapsulated in this 2050 vision, which says we're going to move from here to here over a series of years, and we're going to improve the economic situation of Rwandan people. And as we've been talking through, that's being done by embracing technology. It's being done by having a vision. That's the key thing. Where are we? What do we hope to achieve? How do we achieve it? How do we get there? And that's crucially important. If you haven't got a vision, and many politicians aren't visionary, Paul Kagame is. Tony Blair in Britain was a visionary. Whatever you thought of his politics, he had a vision for the country. Margaret Thatcher in Britain, well before your time, she was a visionary. So you do get some politicians who are visionary. Paul Kagame, Tony Blair. Keir Starmer in Britain isn't a visionary. You've got a vision and you're embracing it and implementing it, and technology is a crucial part of that, as is international relations.
Nice. Then I think this is time for Africa. Then my question will be actually, how is Rwanda fostering regional integration and actually intra-African trade to boost its economic growth and global market presence?
Yeah, I think it's well placed in East Africa, isn't it? It has a great reputation. Other African leaders look up to your president and see him as the sort of person that can lead an African country. And so it's seen as a shining light. I've heard it described as the Singapore of Africa, and other such titles, because it's really seen as a country that's out there to do business. And so I think other countries learn from it. I think they take a lead from Rwanda and try and build in a similar way to what Rwanda's doing.
Nice. Then today we really want to understand how is Rwanda positioning itself actually to be a gateway for foreign business, as you say, a businessman entering the African market.
Yeah. Well, the new airport is crucially important. It's a landlocked country, but it's neighbours with some other big players like Uganda, and Kenya is close by, Tanzania and the ports there. So harnessing that, it's a key gateway into the rest of Africa, and that's important. I think the international airport that's being developed will become a hub for people flying in and around Africa, and especially East Africa. So Ethiopia plays that to an extent already, but I think Rwanda, even though it's a relatively small country, with the new airport, will take some of that responsibility. And as that airport grows, it will help Rwanda become an even bigger business hub. So it's already doing lots of conferences and conventions which brings in business. The international airport will do something similar as well. So it's going to increase its position as a regional East African country where business is done from.
Still in Ruraganje, we are with Simon Danczuk. Then my question is going to be, what actually you've been here for 12 years or 12 times.
12 times.
Yeah, I can say that. What lessons can other countries learn from Rwanda's journey of resilience and growth following the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi?
Yes, that's a really good question. And earlier I drew the comparison between Sierra Leone, where I'd been doing some business, and Rwanda, and how Sierra Leone had been through a civil war some years ago, but failed to, to thrive and prosper. But Rwanda's managed to do that, facing the conflict that occurred here. And that's really to its credit, to the resilience of the people, to the political leadership that Rwanda has had. And really having a president that's gone out and collaborated internationally. So I know that, it's well known that President Kagame collaborated with Tony Blair in terms of taking advice and discussing what can be done, but he's collaborated with many other countries as well. And I think that vision to be able to move Rwanda, that discipline to being able to move Rwanda to the next stage in its development over time, I think has really paid dividends. I think it's a credit to the people, a credit to the political leadership that you're on that trajectory to achieve what's set out in that 2050 vision, actually.
And then, how's Rwanda addressing global challenges such as climate change, actually health and sustainable development through multilateral cooperation?
Yeah, well, I think we touched briefly earlier on Japan, and that's just one example. You mentioned Japan and China. And one positive, I think, is that that Rwanda's relationship with any one country isn't overemphasized. So you see some African countries that have, in my view, too strong a relationship with China. China is too involved in that African nation, or they have too strong a relationship with Russia, too strong a relationship with Russia. And what I think Rwanda has managed to do is to keep a balance with all the different countries. So it has a very positive relationship with Japan, who help with investment in and aid into agriculture, but also into partnerships with universities through to medical support, partnerships with China as well in terms of some construction and infrastructure projects, but also strong relationships with America and with the United Kingdom. And that's really what's helping Rwanda develop in a positive way. It really is, for such a small country on this continent, it really, we say in Britain, it punches above its weight. So it's, I think it's a boxing term is that, but it does much better than you would expect it to do, considering its relatively small size, that it's landlocked, and that it has a relatively small population. It really achieves so much more on the international stage than comparable countries or even bigger countries.
Nice, dear Simon. Within 12 times, I think there is something very impressive or something good you prefer and love in Rwanda.
Oh, well, I love the countryside in Rwanda. So it's nice to get out of Kigali sometimes and see Lake Kivu and elsewhere. But I like Kigali. My wife and I love spending time in Kigali as well. Nice. I like a Primus beer. Now, this has been controversial in the past. I've tasted beer over many, many years, and I have to say Primus is a good beer. But I suspect younger people in Rwanda are less enthusiastic about it because it's not a trendy, it's not a fashionable beer. It's one that's been drunk by older people traditionally. But I'm telling you, I love, the first thing I did when I arrived in Kigali last night was go and have a Primus beer. Wow. So I like the beer. I like the food. We have lots of Rwandan cooked food at home in London. My wife cooks very well. and I'm looking forward to this weekend. We're going to see, we're going to the newly regenerated football arena stadium. We're watching APR FC play the Power Dynamos, is it? I'm not very good on random football. So that's on Sunday, so we're looking forward to that. We're going to go to Kigali Universe as well. So we've never been there before. That looks very exciting. So yeah, there's plenty to do. It's great. I always describe Kigali as being very similar to a relatively small European city, which is a compliment. There's lots going on, lots of restaurants, nightlife, leisure activities. It's a great city. I love it.
Do you sometimes plan to stay here forever?
Oh, well, there is talk about that, yeah. And if things, we haven't discussed Britain very much, but the political situation there is quite awful, really, at the moment. And if it gets any worse, you could well see me moving to Rwanda on a more permanent basis.
And Simon actually wished to learn any Kinyarwanda?
I need to learn the language. I am terrible on languages anyway. I even struggle with English at times, but I must learn some of the language. I promise I will do that. So the next time I'm with you, you can test me.
That would be nice. Then, have you ever been in Kajira Park, or you are planning to go there?
Yeah, no, we have, because I have two sons from a previous marriage, and we took them to the park. Yeah, we've been all around Rwanda over the last few years. Yeah.
Nice. Then today you are here. How is your business going so far in Rwanda?
Oh yeah, no, it's going well. I have lots of meetings lined up. My wife is running Coco Skincare, so she'll be busy and involved with that. So yeah, we don't get that much downtime when we're in Rwanda actually, but it's nice to catch up. I have one or two friends as well now that I've developed friendships with, so I'll catch up for a beer with those as well. So a little bit of business, some conversations with people like yourself, but also some leisure time. Yeah. So
all right. For the very first time in Africa and in Rwanda in general, Rwanda will be hosting the World UCI Championship cycling.
Oh right, yeah. Cycling's very big in Rwanda, isn't it? I've noticed that.
Yeah, we have a Tour du Rwanda, but this time around we'll be hosting the World UCI Championship for the very first time in Africa.
Yes, no, well, but Africa is good at hosting these types of events, whether it's football, basketball. I've been to basketball events in Kigali. Sporting events particularly good, conventions, conferences. We were talking about which sectors does Rwanda excel at, and that whole issue of hosting and having people coming into the country. I think they're extremely good at that. Great range of hotels, customer care, service in restaurants and hotels and bars is very good. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that's a first. There'll be many more firsts in Rwanda, I'm sure.
Then, dear Simon, before we come up on the end of this show, what would be a good message for those who are watching us right now?
Oh, well, my message is clear. Keep doing what you are doing. You know, be determined as you are to succeed, and you will move through that 2050 vision and achieve what's set out in it.
Nice. This is the end of today's Ruraganje. You are with me, Hamis Sango. Thank you for being with us. Always keep watching TV10.